Welcome, gentlemen. So in this video, it's going to be completely raw. I want to go through my A to Z process on exactly how I went from 0 to 30K a month with my agency and how you can actually do the same. So I've taken down a few notes and I'm going to go through them. This is going to be completely raw, so you're going to get as much value as possible, and I 100% guarantee you that you're going to get 10x the value that the time that you put into this video watching it. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you're a beginner in the agency space, the reason that agencies are actually so important is because there are businesses with problems, okay? And every business has a problem, right? So you as an agency is gonna come up with a solution to that problem and charge a price for fixing that problem for them. And that's kind of just like how an agency actually works. And you get to a point where you start taking on 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 clients, and maybe even up to 200, 2,000, depending on the price of your services and if you're scaling your business high or not, or whatever. But what we kind of do here at my agency, we charge anywhere from 1,600 to 2,000 a month. We're at 20 clients right now, or 21 clients, I believe. So that's kind of like what it looks like for us right now. Preferably, if you are starting an agency from scratch, you don't want to really be charging people like 100, 200 a month for your services, especially if you're able to create a good product, a good service, and you spend a lot of time on actually learning how to perfect it and replicate it, copy and paste it for other people. You're going to do great, okay? There's so many different steps to the agency game where in the beginning, a lot of people say hey, don't focus on service delivery, just get your first client. But if you're not able to identify how you're actually different from the competition, you're just going to be seen as a commodity. And the reason that it's so important that you're actually different from the rest is that there's so many other people that can fix the same problem that you can. And kind of what it just comes down to is how many hours somebody's willing to put in. But if you have a good product, people don't really care if it takes 30 minutes to solve the problem, I'm going to pay you X amount of money because this problem is stopping my business from growing. Now, the thing that we do here specifically is helping home improvement businesses to basically scale, right? Get them more jobs. Really just depends on whatever niche you want to go into. But as I said, this is going to be completely raw. I want to tell you exactly how I did it. Obviously, you don't want to kind of just copy and paste what somebody says, but in this video, you can kind of just get a complete understanding of how I did it. You can maybe choose a different niche if you want. Maybe you can go into home improvement as well as you'd like. I don't really care because at the end of the day, whoever's watching my videos and trying to learn from me is somebody that I hold dear, and I don't really care at the end of the day who wins and who doesn't. If we're all winning, that's all great, right? Of course, I'm always going to outwork you because I know my work ethic, and at the end of the day, I'm just going to win in business. And you might win in business, but this is not to sound cocky or egotistical or whatever. But I'm going to do better than you, and that's because I work harder than you. And that's going to be a whole separate video about mindset and everything like that. But yeah, let's kind of just talk about the agency stuff and how you can actually start out. So the first thing you want to do to start out when you're running an agency is find out a niche that actually, has a problem. You identify the problem, and then you come up with a product that is a solution to that problem. So for a niche, I always recommend that you choose something that people can, have the money to actually invest in themselves. If your product is something that they actually use month to month and that it's already pretty common in their industry to keep using or to get, for example, the agency that I run is getting leads and appointments for these guys. And, of course, on the top of that, there's a bunch more value that we do, which is why we're able to charge a high price point. But you want to go to a niche that is able to invest in whatever solution you have, and that solution is going to have a great ROI on their business, and that's the reason that they're going to go forward with you. Now, testimonials are important, but go there later, right? But yeah, just go ahead, choose a niche. There's chiropractors, there's car detailers. You kind of want to choose somebody that, it's really easy to advertise for. And there's something like, for example, solar. Solar is not as easy to sell if you're kind of just starting out. I mean, if you've been in the advertising game for long, you probably already kind of know like how to advertise and what marketing angles to take. But if you're just starting out, solar is such a hard, and this is just an example, right? Solar is just a hard place to start at because you're basically convincing a homeowner to install a multi-thousand-dollar, tens of thousands of dollars solar system onto their house. And so many people have been like kind of just trashed or scammed around with solar, and some people just don't think it's worth it, right? And they can just keep paying their electricity bill. Like, why do they want to keep, switch to it? Obviously, there's that they can go ahead and do, but yeah, just don't choose something in the beginning that if you're just starting out in marketing or whatever, your agency specifically tailored towards in solving a product, don't choose something that it's hard to advertise for, or if you're not even doing advertising, then go ahead and try to identify what exactly that you want to do with your agency. But yeah, be able to charge something at a high price point, something that's easy to advertise for other businesses. That way you're actually able to get them results and use that results to basically just get more clients. And I kind of want to give a little bit of a backstory on how I actually started, and how I got my first clients, how I scaled and got to 21 clients. Obviously that's just the start. I see that as just something that I'm just starting out as, and there's a lot more potential. You're able to see these people that have 200 clients, and then you question yourself, like, am I even really like going ham at this? And there's just so much more to the vision. And this can go into a completely different video, but just to put it in layman's terms is that there is so much like potential, right? Sometimes like I feel like that there's not much to do. There's not many tasks to do. And once you get them done, you're like, what do I do next? And I've always kind of found out that it's good to kind of just like, as you go along the journey, things just start to pop up, and then problems start to pop up, and it kind of how you go through those is just having a killer mindset, and not obviously like that type of killer, but just going at it and not quitting, because if you quit, you would have never known if you would succeed. So there's so much potential in whatever business you start, and you just have to look at the top dogs and see if they're able to do it, then why can't you do it, right? So what they're doing is kind of like what you want to essentially copy, which is kind of like why you're looking at this video right now. I'm at some place that you want to get to, and that's why you're still watching this video trying to learn from me, and that's amazing. You took the first step to basically trying to start your agency, and that's amazing. Obviously, there's tons of other business models, but we're kind of just covering over what I know, what I have knowledge in, and why I actually think agency is the best business model to start. I mean, there's no upfront that you have to put down. I mean, as long as you learn something, you're basically trading your time for learning a product or a service that can basically benefit a business. And at the beginning, you're trading your time for money, which is essentially like a 9-to-5, right? But once you start getting clients, you're starting to have cash flow, you can actually start to hire team members, build out systems, build out automations, and that's actually how you become the business owner. You don't want to work in the business, but you want to work on the business. Okay, so that's essentially how it works. And yeah, I'm gonna kind of just go over a little backstory of how I actually built my agency, what it looked like for my first few clients, how I got those first few clients, what I did to get my next clients, and maybe kind of like what offers I've ran, essentially. But yeah, kind of just starting out, I believe it was about a year and a half ago. This shit does take time, and I don't care about the AdSense, so I'll cuss. I'll try to keep it to a minimum, but I'm just gonna be myself, But yeah, so what happened is that I started a year and a half ago, and I actually got distracted by e-com for like 6 months, and I did really well with it. I'm not gonna blur out the number right now, but I did really, really well, and I got to a point where Shopify actually held our money. I had a partner, and kind of he's what had the funds to that business, and I kind of just traded my time to learn e-com inside and out. So who knows, maybe that's something that could go down the line, but that's not a business model that you can kind of just start out if you're just getting started, But agency is just, you get multiple clients, cash flow is every single month, you put them on contract, and you're guaranteed monthly revenue. So agency is amazing. But yeah, kind of just going back a year and a half ago, first started, and I was trying my best to get that first client. And the reason that you want to get that first client is so you can actually put to the test like how to actually do marketing, how to actually, build out the product fully. Because I mean, obviously in the beginning you're not going to have the greatest product, and you're not going to have everything that you need to be done with it. You're going to have so many things that you actually need to improve on and get better at with your service. And that first client, I was doing cold calls, I was doing Instagram DMs, I was, just doing everything I could have. I was sending looms, and niche hopping. So niche hopping is basically where you kind of, I think I started in solar or something like that. Car detailers, I tried that as well. I got a client in car detailing, and it flopped completely. I think I got him like 3 leads in a month. It was horrible. And I went into home improvement. I was cold calling all day, and why you might actually have more success than I had at the beginning and get quicker results is because I sounded like a girl. Like, I was literally eating broccoli, corn, or whatever. So like, I'm just trying to be upfront with you guys, and this is a raw video, so I'm just gonna go over exactly what it looked like for me. But yeah, I literally sounded like a girl. It could be because I was, still going through puberty as well. But yeah, I literally sounded like a girl calling these guys. And I actually did deck restoration, something like that. In the beginning, it was like patios, like building decks and stuff. I got a client there, or no, I didn't get a client there. But I called one of these guys. I hopped on a meeting with them after the cold call, and he was like, "I thought you were a girl or something," and it was hilarious when I look back at it. And yeah, so kind of just go back to my first client. I got him by cold calling, and necessarily what you should do with your first client, getting your first client, is offering a free trial. Now, you don't know how to do your service. You might think but obviously, as I said before, there's so many things that you're going to learn across the journey of actually building out your business. But yeah, the first time, like that first client, you can use to your advantage. Get a testimonial from, work for him 10, 14 days free, and be like, "Hey man, if you don't like what I do, you can completely just get a free trial, and if you don't like what we do, then we can just stop working with each other." And they're like, "Shit, let's just dive right in," okay? And they give you a chance. And now that first chance, you might flop, you might not actually do well. But with home improvement, I specifically remembering that I just kind of looked at what the top dogs were doing, and then I kind of like funnel hacked. So what funnel hacking means is not actually hacking, but it's basically going on Facebook ad library and searching up your competitors' like businesses. So like, if you're doing home improvement, you're doing like kitchen, bathroom, and remodelings, what you're gonna do is basically just search up like kitchen and bathroom remodeling. Like, there's a bunch of different things to search up, but try to look up like the offer for kitchen and bathroom remodeling stuff, and look at what other ads are looking like. Look at the ad copy. Ad copy means like ad text, the primary text, what the ad actually says on it, and then the headline, and then the call to action, the learn more button, or the book now button, whatever it says. Just look at what others are working, and how you can kind of tell what something is working or something is not working is if the ad has actually been up for a while. So if an ad has only been on for 3 days, you don't know if it's actually being a successful ad. But if an ad is, been up for a month, 2 or 3, that people are not just spending money on that ad for it to not to work. So that's necessarily how you can kind of determine who to actually, learn off of, and look at the ad library. At the beginning, if you already have some income, what I would do is invest in a mentor. I have a mentor currently, but obviously I couldn't do that at the beginning. At the beginning I just learned it all myself. But what basically a mentor does is accelerates the path, accelerates the journey, because the same problems or things that you're going through, that mentor, you want to choose a mentor that has done it and has gone what you too wanted to go through, and get to a point in your business that they have. And that's how you choose the right mentor. But yeah, mentor basically just accelerates the process, tells you how to fix the problems before they even happen, and yeah, you just get there basically a lot faster. So yeah, back to basically ads. Just try to look at the top dogs and look at their client testimonials. And you might see in the client testimonials that the business that they ran ads for, you might be able to find it. So then go to Facebook ad library, search up Frosty's construction or something, whatever it's going to be, and look at what those ads that the top dog was running. So for example, let's say that there was something called Digital Renaissance or something like that, like something I just pulled something out of my ass. But yeah, let's just say that you look something up, and that's the top dog. That's the person that you want to get to, and you don't currently able to invest in a mentor, but he has a client testimonial, and he gets, like, he's at 100K a month, or he's at 200K a month, and he knows how to actually do service delivery and do marketing for his clients. You would basically look and try to find a client testimonial, a business name that they've advertised for, and look them up on the ad library, and you can basically reverse engineer what is exactly he's doing for his marketing. You can check the videos he's running, you can check the images he's running, the ad copies he's running, what websites he's running, if he's running a website or a Facebook lead form. You can really just determine, and that's going to help you a ton at the beginning with the marketing. So going back to when I got my first client, I actually looked at this guy. I think his name's Max Pearson, and he was running a roofing business, or like a roofing marketing agency. And I remember finding one of his clients through like a testimonial or something. I'm not going to shout out the business name, but that basically, like, I found it and I was like, okay, he seems to know what he's doing. He's at 50K a month or whatever, so he knows how to do service delivery. And I was like, I'm going to look up his client and then just look at the ads he's running for him. And I'm going to do the same thing for my client that's in home improvement, which roofing's kind of home improvement, but yeah, so that's exactly what I did, and I don't remember specifically what happened, but the results were great. And what then I talked to my client was like, hey, he told me like he closed a job or two, and I was like, shoot, man, I just did that for free, and now I know how service delivery works, or I have a good understanding, and I can replicate it for other clients. So at the beginning, I had no systems in place. I had made the sub accounts, or not sub accounts, but basically we use a software called Go High Level. So you can search that up. It's basically a place where you can like host your agency. And I had no way of copy and pasting really. Like you can basically get a snapshot of your client sub account and then redo it for another client. But now we have like automations in the agency, which I'll describe later what automations we have and how you can basically automate your agency, get employees, stuff like that. I'm literally dropping all the sauce right here, all the value right here. So pay attention, man. So yeah, that first client, the second client I got was just a referral. I did so good for that first client that he referred me to somebody else, and then my pitch deck was horrible, dude. I did not even know how to talk to somebody. Like he just went on board with it because my other client referred him to me. I kind of just went through the presentation, no discovery phase, horrible sales process, didn't know anything that I was doing, and I think I had just like a white background for my sales calls. And yeah, it was horrible. So and just touching on sales calls, now at the beginning you're going to have to do them unless you have some way of startup money. But yeah, you really want, as a CEO of a company, you want to really just know how to do all the traits that you're going to end up hiring for. Because if you don't know, you're not able to critique or help out. Let's say you're going to get a media buyer, which is basically somebody that does the Facebook ads for you, for the clients, and you don't have to worry about it. But let's say something goes wrong and they don't know how to fix it. Since you don't know how to run Facebook ads, now you can't really fix it. Now you have to look for somebody else. But if you did from the start, ran everything, you know how to do everything in your business, you can basically tell your sales reps how to perform, tell your media buyers how to perform, tell your operations manager how to do things. Obviously, you don't have to learn editing, but yeah, editing is such a wide, skill that everybody really has. If you're able to look on Discord. So we'll get to how to find your employees later, but yeah, kind of just a brief summary is Discord. But I'll explain why. But yeah, that's pretty much the first client referred me to the second one. And that first client, actually, I'm I'm actually pretty lucky. So in business, a lot of it comes down to luck. And it's not necessarily luck, but it's working every single day and not stopping. And that's how you get those lucky days. Because if you weren't working every single day, you wouldn't actually get and hit that lucky day, possibly. So you want to work every single day, work Sundays, if you're actually serious about it. Now, if you're somebody that's like, oh, I'm just going to do this as a side gig, you're not going to grow the business like how you actually, plan to grow it. Like if you want to get to 50K a month, that's just not going to take like little boy attitude, right? And I'm not going to say, but yeah, you get what I mean, right? So that first client referred me to 4 people and I closed all of them. Referrals like are so easy to close. And I didn't really even know what I was doing for the first like 4 clients that on the sales calls, of course. So then the first hire that I made was a sales rep. And at the beginning, since this was like kind of new in my business, I kind of just like had the network, and I didn't really even have a network. It was kind of just my partner from my e-com business from like a community on Discord. So we found each other like on a e-com Discord group, and that's kind of how I met my partner for e-com. But that's also the sales rep that I hired because he actually went to college last year. So he was like, during the summer he had time, and I basically digged more into sales, how to actually learn sales, and I kind of learned it more myself as I started, closing more clients, and then I kind of taught him to actually close and do the sales himself. So obviously still I was taking sales calls, like my referrals that I was getting from, but yeah, I was really doing everything at the beginning, and that's the same thing that you want to do. It's very important. So why I actually got that sales rep is because I actually started to do paid ads. But let me just kind of go back a little bit. So I got that first client. He referred me to a couple people. And how I actually got my other clients was I did Instagram DMs for a little bit. What I would do is not put me on Instagram DMs, but my sales rep. We would have made a couple pages for him with different last names, and that might be wrong, right? But it's we wanted to kind of create like a personal profile to message these people, because then they're gonna probably most likely look at it, right? So for Instagram DMs, we did that for a little bit. We actually got one Canadian client from it, and I actually think that he closed that guy. So the offer that I actually got my first client on, I'm sorry I didn't actually touch on this earlier, but that first client that I got from the free trial, I basically put him on a pay per appointment model. So we were basically generating leads from Facebook and Instagram, and what we did is that I made basically like a website, a funnel that these people like go to. They fill out a lead survey with a couple questions and stuff, and lead quality is a huge thing in the agency game. Like if you want to be different, you have to offer quality leads, because people don't want to waste their time. These guys are business owners. They don't want to waste that time, but that's just a little bit of a side note. But yeah, we actually booked these appointments for them. And I actually later on went on to hiring an appointment setter where they're booking my clients' leads through text, through call. So that's really helpful. So I don't even have to do any of that. And we're booking as many appointments as possible, because the offer that I'm running is basically a pay per appointment model. And how we kind of like actually keep them in touch with that is we sign a contract that they work minimum like 60 or 90 days or so. And yeah, these guys really, they want appointments because they want more jobs. And part of the sales process is having them find the motivation to get more jobs. If they're not in a rush to get more jobs, or they're kind of fine where they're at, first of all, that person's unqualified, but you can actually turn that person into somebody that's like looking and thinking like, hey, like this is actually a good idea. Like you can turn their thought into like, shoot, I need more jobs. Like I want to provide for my family. I want to travel more. I want to do more things. Like there's so many things that you can learn in sales and persuade somebody. That's the whole thing on sales. Like you're persuading somebody to do something, changing their current state. And sales is a huge part of just emotion. So 100% that. And Yeah, so I basically got him on a $80 per appointment model, and the second guy that, or basically my second client, which was a referral, I think I got him on an 80 per appointment as well. And I think I was doing like 200 setup fee, something like that. And I kind of just did that because, I just want a little bit of money up front. And it's not really a big deal to them. They're business owners. Like $200 is nothing to them. So I did that, and I thought I was on top of the world really for getting like $200 up front. And I recorded my first video of getting that setup fee, and it was so funny because in that video, and I played it back, I literally sounded like a girl. So I might plug it in one day, but it was crazy. I got like I think it was $147 setup fee or 197. I'm not sure, something like that. And I recorded myself saying like, "Yo, I got my first setup fee. This is the start of everything." And it's crazy to look back. I 100% recommend that you like document your things and you actually look back at it, because you're gonna see like so much improvement. Like even journaling, like there's not much information in journaling. Like you can write stuff down, but you don't actually know the emotion that you wrote it down in. So maybe record videos of yourself like, "Hey, I'm at this stage in my business and I know I'm gonna be successful, so I'm recording this," and then record something else next week, record something else the next week, and just update your document it. Because if you're actually serious about this, you can make it. You can make it happen, okay? And it's gonna be awesome to be able to reflect and see it, okay? So yeah, I remember that first video I made. So yeah, basically my third client, I believe I actually got on a retainer. Now a retainer is basically just like a flat rate per month, and that third client, I think I was trying to charge $1,500 a month, and we kind of like split it up into two payments, which the first payment was like $750, and then at the end of the month it was $750 as well. Now the mistake that I made, or for those first two clients specifically, I remember it took me like 3 months to make sure everything was good for them. And I think it's really important that you kind of learn about your service delivery at the beginning, but it's not that important. What's the most important thing is actually like getting that first client. I know a lot of people say like, don't know about service delivery, but that's kind of just, it's not the right way to go, because then you don't actually know what you're doing, and you try to, and then you tell the client like, "Hey, the first month was rocky, but it's gonna be good the second month." You actually want to know a little bit about what you do before you actually go ahead and get that first client, but it's not that important. Just learn a little bit, and then you learn as you go with that first or second client. And I remember for 3 months I was kind of just having those clients and trying to figure out how I can improve and what I can do better, and it was really rocky. It was like mess ups everywhere. So the third client I got, as I said, it was a $1,500 a month retainer, which was probably like overpriced, but honestly, like the product, of course, my service has improved upon the last few months, like intensely, heavily, right? But for what I was doing there, the leads weren't that quality really. It was just kind of them filling out a name and phone number and maybe like their address, and so that they're able to give a quote, but it wasn't that quality of a homeowner that I was actually giving to my clients. So that third client, I think I actually lost him that month because I kind of just let it fumble, honestly. I didn't really go with it. Kind of what happened is that his Facebook advertising account was restricted, and then we tried putting on his card on a different one, and then his card was kind of like saying contact support. And usually how that goes, I know from e-com, Facebook never restricts your account unless it gives an option to, which it didn't give an option to. It said to contact support instead of doing it yourself. So I knew that was done. And then at the time, I didn't really have any cash flow. I didn't have a significant amount of money to put in because, as I said before, my money was held in Shopify from the e-com stuff. So basically what happened is that I didn't put my card on the account, and that's a mistake. Now, it's not technically a mistake because I didn't have cash flow that could, have me charge my card for ads and then charge him later for it because his card wasn't working. But I really didn't communicate well with that client, and I didn't really lose him. It's not like he told me that he wanted to go away. But yeah, besides that point, just so you kind of know, but yeah, that's basically what happened with the third client. Now the fourth client I actually got on maybe 1,000 a month, or actually it was 4,000 for 3 months. So we signed a contract saying, hey, you had to pay me 4,000 for 3 months, and it's digestive. So it's like split into 3 months, or the payment split into three. So it's basically 1,333 every single month. And that's how I got my next client. And now let's kind of get into the important part. Like we understand now like what those first few clients look like, what I can actually do, actionable steps. But let's actually go into what you want to do if you're, a little bit more intermediate, you know what you're doing a little bit, you got those first few clients. Now what you want to do is scale. And how do you scale? You basically put money in to get money out. And it's that simple. It's literally just doing that. And the route I took was, first of all, I did Instagram DMs a little bit more. We got one client from that, but it was just way too long to wait. Like we opened up like 6 profiles, I believe, and you can only like send 50 DMs a day from each profile. And yeah, I got like 2 appointment setters for Instagram DMs, but it was just way too like they weren't really quality, and they didn't, the no shows play a role as well. So I literally just went into paid ads, and I was like, shoot, man, I gotta make this work or nothing. Like it's all or nothing at the end of the day, and you just want to take those risks. So paid ads, they didn't really work, but I know I definitely went across the journey in paid ads, which paid ads basically means for the agency. So you're basically putting $1 in to get $8 out, and that's basically just a print money kind of type of machine. But obviously there's like systems, there's automations that you got to do on the back end, set up things, pay employees. But yeah, that's basically kind of what it works. It's called like basically return on ad spend, like ROAS, something like that. But yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. So I did paid ads. Now I'm gonna make a separate video in exactly how I set up my advertising, strategy, because this is just a raw video, and I want to kind of go through what it looked like from my beginning part on actually scaling, or like starting and scaling my agency. So with paid ads, wow, the first month was so rocky. Like my card was failing because I didn't have enough cash flow, and you had it with paid ads. Like it's not really worth it unless you spend like $100 a day. So with $150 a day right now, we're actually getting about 4 to 6 appointments a day. Sometimes it's more actually. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Actually just launched a campaign this morning, but yeah, that's pretty much it. You also have to like get someone to record ads, and I don't do that myself. And then you got to get someone to edit the ads, so it takes a little bit of time. But paid ads is really how you can scale. And when you're doing paid ads, you really kind of just have to take a different positioning from everybody else. So you can actually like go ahead and, as I said, Facebook ad library, it's literally a free tool that shows every single ad on Facebook. You go ahead and you look at that, and you look at your competitors, you look at the other agencies that are running maybe in the home improvement niche, or whatever niche you're in, roofing, car detailing, med spas, whatever it is, gyms, like it could be anything, the niche, and HVAC as well is another one. But yeah, you can do your own research on that. But as I said before, I've already stated what a successful niche looks like, and going into that. Now, niche hopping is, don't do it, okay? Like, you want to make sure that you go into something and you don't quit. You just keep going with that, because what it kind of looks like is that, let's say maybe the first or second client, they're not getting great results. Like, okay, you can maybe assess, is the niche even really that good? But every niche is hard. Don't quit on a niche, because that's what it looks like for other agencies. They just start niche hopping every few months, and you don't actually know the ins and out of that, niche. So don't niche hop. And basically with paid ads, we're spending $150 a day, but yeah, we basically got our first few clients through there. Positioning is so important, as I said before, and yeah, just take a different approach. Look at the competitors, see how they're doing it. If everybody's doing this, then you start doing it. Yeah, you might get some results, but how you're significant, or you're differentiated from the other people, is that you take a different positioning. You maybe have a different offer, you have different ad text. And for example, for home improvement, like a normal offer is like free quote. Now you want to do your own, your own due diligence and basically look at other offers and try to find one, or maybe even test different offers, split test on the back end and see what other offers, work, because free quote is so commoditized. So if you commoditize your agency, you get commoditized results, like your results are just the same as everybody else's, it's going to be hard to actually scale to 50K a month, 100K a month, to 200K a month, whatever you want to get to. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's kind of just it, the raw video. If there's anything specifically that you want me to talk about, I'll go ahead and talk about it. But yeah, the next video I'm actually going to make is how I go ahead and create my paid ads. And yeah, so you'll probably see that sometime soon. But for now, it's kind of just going to be some raw videos and just give as much knowledge that I have on specific subjects that I actually know about. So yeah, if there's anything specific that you want me to talk about, 100% I can go ahead and do it. But yeah, pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys another time. So peace.